Hello students, welcome back. Last week you all have given your assignments and this week you're working on your application based questions. But learning doesn't stop. So today we are going to be learning an entirely new uh, keyword. We're going to learn the keyword for. Up till now you all have done if else programs. You all have done if else programs. You all have done nested if else programs. Okay, and similarly, we can have nested if programs also. All these programs you all have done quite a lot and you all have practiced. And I'm hoping you all continue practice doing the same old programs again because only practice makes perfect. The most important thing in computer science is practicing. So moving further now, today I'm going to show you all another loop. Okay, so we are going to learn loops today. That is called iteration. Okay, so we are going to basically learn a loop program today. So up till now, what we used to do is you all have learned if elif, okay, if else and if elif programs. So basically, that is a program in which in that program you all we used to take decision. It was a decision making program. Now let's say you all found the percentage of one student, correct? You all did the average, you all took the name, division, everything. You all calculated the average and you all gave a grade. But you all did it for one student, correct? Now, if I tell you do it for five students, what will you all do? You all will have to write the code five times, correct? But what if I teach you all something called as a loop or an iteration? Please pardon me for the handwriting. It would have been much easier if I had a whiteboard, but I don't have a whiteboard. And I prefer teaching on the computer because I can show you all the program. Okay, so if I teach you something called as a loop or an iteration, that means a set of code keeps repeating n number of times till you want it to stop. That is called an iteration. An iteration, where a piece of code, this is my definition, you have to take the correct definition from your textbooks, okay? Keeps looping until you want to stop it. Okay, so in iteration, you will learn a loop which is called, there are two loops that are there, for and while. We are going to learn for loop today. All right, so let me show you all one of the for loops. Okay, this is my for loop program one. In for loop, how does it work? Is, for example, I say for I in 10, and I'm just printing. I'm going for a very simple program for you all. Okay, I know this at the moment must look very alien to you all. I completely understand, but you all are going to understand the consequences just about in a minute. So I'm saying for is my keyword. This is one variable that I use, any variable name that I want. The variable name that I'm going to use inside the for loop. So I'm using I. I have not given I any value before it because I will take its value from here. And when I say I in 10, it means I will take the value of 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 automatically. So for I in 10 means this particular loop is going to run 10 times. Okay, this loop will run 10 times, but on the screen, the numbers you will read are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You will not see the number 10 because the loop is running 10 times, but the first time the value of I is going to be 0. It's going to be 0. So if you manually count the digits from 0 to 9, you will get 10 times. You get 10 times the loop has ran. I will just show it to you all. We'll run it. So before that, we always have to save it. Okay, I'm sorry. I did a little error here. I'll just yes. Now, today I'm going to be loading you all with two things. One is for loop and one is the range function. So like I told you, you will see the numbers from 0 to 9, but the loop has run 10 times. Okay. Just by writing this much piece of code, you all got 10 lines printed on the screen. And up till now, you all were writing so many lines of code and you all were getting very little output. So this is the miracle or the magic of iteration of loop statement. Okay, so you can see this range function. This is a function you have to learn. Again, this is an inbuilt function. In range function, we have three things inside the range function that we can show. Okay, so let's clear this. Okay. So in range function, it takes three variables, okay, A, comma, B, comma, C. But right now, only in the current example, I had written only one number inside, correct? So three variables are not compulsory. Minimum one you have to write for sure, but three variables are not compulsory. Now I'll tell you what these three variables mean. A means start. From where do you want them to start? I'll explain this to you also. So just listen. A means start, B means stop, okay, and C means skip. All right. Now, write this down so you all will remember it. Range function will generally take three variables. First one will be start, second one means stop, third one means skip. Now, in this, if I use a function range, which just one variable, any, okay, whatever, any number or whatever, that is generally considered as the stop part of it. It is generally considered as where we should stop. But if I put 2, for example, then it is considered as the first one is start, second one is stop. And if along with this, suppose I write a third one, okay, it means skip. So after 78, 79, 80, then 81 will happen. Then 82, 83, 84 value will come. Now I will show you all these three. Okay, so today I'm going to just teach you all range function because otherwise it will become too much for you all. Today we'll only do the range function and stop. Okay, I'll show you all these three in the live demonstration. Okay. So you all saw when we did this, we got 0 to 9. Now I want to start with 1 and then go to 10. Okay. Now it will start from 1, it stopped at 9. That means it ran only 9 times. It did not run 10 times. Okay, because I did not take the value 0. I is picking its value from whatever we are writing inside this bracket. If I write 5 over here, okay, then it is going to start from the number 5, stop at number 9. Suppose I change this 10 to number 7. Then what will it do? It will again start from number 5. It will stop at number 7. So 7 will not be seen. That number that we used last is not seen. Okay. Another thing you must remember this. Write it down in your notes. wherever your notes are, write it down. Wherever is this stop statement, this number is not included. Write this down because you will have to go back to this when we do the bigger programs. This is not included. So if I say number 10 over here, 10 is not displayed. If I write number 7 over here, 7 is not displayed. Is this clear now to you all? Okay, so I'm going to go back there to show you all some more examples. So let's say I have, I'll start from 1, I'm going to stop at 10, and I'm putting a skip count. Okay, I'm putting a skip count of 2. That means first my I is going to have the number 1, okay, and it will go inside and it will print the value. It will come back to the for loop. Now it will not take the number 2, it will take the number 3 because I have said skip 2. Okay, let's see this code also. So after 1, when it came back, okay, so I over here took the value of 1 and it went inside the loop and it said print I, so it printed the number 1 and it went up. It went up and I took the value, second value after skipping 2. So 1, then 2. Then it took the value 3, went inside. Now, if I change this to end equals to space, what will happen to this? All the numbers will be seen in a straight line. Can you see the difference? Okay, so this is, we can still use our old functionalities that we have learned. We still can use those over here also. Okay, right now I just want this much. Okay, so you all have learned this, how you can print from number 1 to 10 or whatever. Now, what if I want to go in the reverse order? If I want to start with the number 10 and I want to stop at number 1, does this going to work? It will not work. Nothing I'm getting. Because if I want to go in the reverse direction, I have to write -1 in the skip place. That means I'm telling you need to go in the reverse order. Now let's run and see. There. Again, remember whatever you write in the stop is never displayed. So it stopped at 2. It did not give me the number 1. If I want the number 1 to be visible, I have to write 0 over here. Yes? But you cannot have 0 visible. Because what will you write? Will you write -1 and see? Let's try that. What if I write -1 over here? Will I get 0? Yes, I got 0. So whatever you write in this area is not going to be printed. I is never going to get that value. Not always we will print the value. Sometimes we are just going to use it to see how many times we want to run the loop. So all these small things you have to learn very well right now. Okay, so write these things down in a notebook for yourself and practice these programs again and again. Because we have reached for loop doesn't mean you stop practicing your print or you stop practicing your sequence program or you will stop practicing your decision making program. You will do all those for sure. Okay, so right now I'm just going to stop on this. So stay home, stay safe, practice all this. Let me know if you have any trouble. Get back to me. So stay home, stay safe, take care and keep learning. Thank you.